Obviously, with Wisconsin, there's a great deal of history between the two programs. It's a great rivalry, and our guys are abundantly aware of that. For us, we have to focus on us and continuing to get better. We're still very much a work in progress. We're trying to have a growth mindset and improve each day. And 2 days of practice heading up to Madison. We're going to try to have great practices and prepare as best we can to play a team that'll be, I think, very hungry, and a fan base that'll be very hungry.
Do you take any extra steps to prepare differently for a road game that's against with a hostile crowd with lots of noise versus neutral court games you guys have played, since you haven't played any true away games yet?
Yeah, no, I know some people pump in music at practice and all those kind of things. We won't do that. I mean, we'll pretty much stick to our script. It takes a special toughness to go on the road and win. You got to be incredibly together. Those are things that we talk about pretty much on a day-to-day basis. The importance of them even raises, though, when you're in a hostile environment.
What does this rivalry mean to you now that you've had a year under your belt, and the fact that records really don't matter when it comes to when these two teams are playing?
Yeah, anytime you have a rivalry like this, I mean, you can throw what happened yesterday out the window. It's going to be an intense game. Both programs are going to play with a great deal of pride and urgency, and those types of effort usually produces some high-level games. That's why people around the country take interest in this game. I saw somebody handed me something that it was named one of the top 10 rivalries in college basketball, and it certainly is, and it's an honor to be a part of it. Obviously, I have a great love for the Marquette program. I respect Wisconsin and what Coach Ryan has done there, and it's pretty unique. I don't know my history quite well enough, but there's going to be a lot of Wisconsin kids on that floor warming up. I think upwards of 13 or 14, which is pretty cool for the state. I think it says a lot for the quality of high school coaching. I think it says a lot for the quality of the youth AAU programs that this state is turning out a lot of high-level players, and so that's a neat storyline too.
When you talk about the kids from being in-state, for the first time since I can remember, at any given time, Marquette will have more in-state players on the floor than Wisconsin will. That's never really happened. And you're only your second year here. What does that say about the program you're trying to build?
Well, I think the main thing it says is I believe there's really good players in state, and they believe in the program that we have here at Marquette can provide them a great college experience. I think one of the things that I recognized when I got the job is there's some high-level kids who could play anywhere in the country, and we're fortunate that we got our fair share of them. And we're hopeful that this Marquette program will be a destination when there are high-level in-state kids.
Steve, it seems like there's been a lot of improvement from day one to this point. I know that the other night I'm sure you weren't too happy. You guys kind of let them back in, et cetera. But are you pleased with the growth? Are you pleased with the progress your team is making as you seek to peak for conference play?
Yeah, I think our team has improved a great deal. I think we are closer to understanding who we need to be as a team, both offensively and defensively. I think we've had some young guys gain invaluable experience and step up in big moments. And we've had older guys who have shown good leadership. And so over the course of this winning streak, it's not just the wins that are exciting. Obviously, they are, but it's the fact that we're getting better. And I think that has to be our daily focus is, are we better today than we were yesterday? Because we're dealing with a young team. I mean, we're the 6th youngest team in the United States. I mean, we're starting 3 freshmen and a sophomore who played a little bit and a junior who's played basically a half a season in college. So from an experience standpoint, we're pretty young, and our guys have responded to some adverse situations. Our guys have gotten better, and there's still a lot of work to do.
Coaching staff right through the last player on the bench, it was most impressive the way you bounced back. I mean, that had to be a real jolt for a young team and their psyche and what have you. And yet you seem to take it, as lots has been said and done about, how they kind of learn from you as to what's important in ownership and all that. Is that something that you may look back at, and even to this point, say, you know what, in some ways, we took a negative and made it a positive?
Well, I think you're going to be, as a coach, as a player, you're going to be faced with different events throughout your career. Some of those events will be really exciting and successful, and you'll have to respond to those. Some will be of great adversity, which the Iowa game was for us. And our guys responded to it in a really positive way, which has allowed them to grow and gain more confidence. I mean, we're a totally different team than the one that took the floor that night. And sometimes you have to learn hard lessons. Sometimes they open your ears a little more, they widen your eyes, they can do a whole lot of things. And so, in that respect, that's good that we showed that we can respond to tough situations. I mean, we were also in, the very next week, we were in tough situations in the 2 ball games that allowed us to win the Legends Classic. I mean, we were down late to Arizona State, where a lot of teams would have quit, and we didn't. And, we made some mistakes at the end of the LSU game, which we won. We're leading basically wire to wire, that gave them a chance to win, and our guys responded in that situation. So we've shown some toughness and character, and that's exciting that those traits are in us. We got to continue to grow those things.
Yesterday, UWM beat the Badgers at Kohl Center, meaning Rob Jeter defeated Phil Ryan for the first time, the pupil defeating the teacher. Do you ever think down the road about that with you and Coach K? Like that scenario, has it ever crossed your mind?
To be honest with you, it hasn't. I got enough things crossing the street in my mind as of right now.
How rare is that, though, and impressive is that? I mean, for something, especially the 2 different programs.
Yeah, I mean, what Rob is doing with his program, I think they're finally healthy now, and they're established, and it's a heck of a win. The Kohl Center is not an easy place to win, and their kids were down big, and they showed great resolve to fight back and to win against obviously a good team, a team that's coached by a Hall of Famer. It shows a lot. Their program should be very proud.
It's very big. It's always been a big rival. And being a hometown kid, I've always been able to watch all the games and even be able to attend. So it's going to be a great game. Wisconsin versus Marquette. That's a game everybody been waiting to see. So we're going to prepare for it, and there's going to be a battle.
And what can it's the last time you guys are playing a power conference team before you head into the Big East. What level of importance can this game have beyond the rivalry towards building your resume for the rest of the season?
And building that is going to be important, especially for this game. Wisconsin, even though they lost a lot of pieces, they're still a great team. They was in a national championship with a great coach and a great returning players as in Nigel Hayes and Bryson Koenig. So, we're going to prepare for it as any other game. It's going to be a big game, and I feel like we're going to be ready to play come Saturday.
How difficult do you think it is, though, to be playing them on the road at the Kohl Center?
It's going to be very difficult, especially for the younger guys on our team. It's their first big road game. We haven't had a real road game really just playing on a neutral site. So that's going to be big for really the whole team. It's going to be Luke really first big road game like that. So it's going to be big for the whole team. And I feel like it's going to be very exciting also.
As exciting as it is, you still got to stay grounded. What are you going to do to stay grounded and keep your composure during the game?
Really just stay focused and stay as a team. Don't get out of character. Just stick to the game plan that Coach Wojciechowski and the rest of the coaching staff gives us. Don't try to get out of hand and do things that Marquette basketball doesn't do.
And you look at the 2 rosters. There are 13, 14, 15 guys from the state of Wisconsin. What does that say to you about the players in the state?
It just shows how many great players we have in Wisconsin in general. Not too many people really talk about Wisconsin basketball and the players that have came out of here. But in these past couple of years, many kids from the state has been staying home, either going to Madison or here, for instance. A lot of kids been doing that. So I feel like that's also going to be a big part of the game. You got a lot of Wisconsin kids that played against each other growing up, high school, and even played on the same team also.
Duane, it seems like there's been a lot of growth in your team, especially since that Iowa game. It could have gone either way, rallied together. Do you see it? You've been around the program a little bit compared to some of your younger teammates. Do you like where you're trending, and do you think you're about where you want to be as you start Big East, or is there more to do with this team?
It's always more to do with this team. You know, we grow every day. You can see it on and off the court. You know, we're growing a lot defensively, and also just having a young team every day. You're gonna we're working on just being mature. You know, you can't always, just because we're a young team doesn't mean we have to act as a young team. So that's our goal, is to always act mature and try to fight through adversity. Because this year, I feel like that's our main thing, is going through adversity. We're going to go through adversity almost every game. And lately we've been responding to it. And hopefully we can keep it that way. But we got a long ways to go to be the team that we want to be.
Did you watch the game last night where UWM beat Wisconsin? And whether or not you watched it, you know, does that game have any bearing on Saturday? Kind of just block that out.
Well, I pretty much blocked it out. I watched the game. It was a good game. Props to UWM. That was a great win for them. And they have a great team and a great coaching staff. And when I feel like Wisconsin, it was just a great game. You know, any game could go any way. If you watch any college basketball games this year, it's upsets, teams that you usually don't see losing or losing. It go any way nowadays.
It's exciting, but you know, we had to get our stuff done on Tuesday instead. But you know, now that's the next game ahead of us. We're going to be looking, you know, deep into it, and we're looking to come out with a win in Madison.
Now, personally, is there any more excitement for this game, considering that you're an in-state kid and, you know, you haven't played them yet?
Yeah, no, it is exciting. I mean, first time with the rivalry. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. You know, I was kind of sad I got to miss it last year. It was the last game I had to sit out for. So you know, there's a lot of excitement building up.
Is it odd taking the floor when you know several players on the other team? A weird feeling?
You know, it happens a lot in college basketball. I mean, you don't realize how many people that you've played against before, you've played with before, you know, all throughout the country. So, you know, to be a little closer to these guys, I'm sure it will be a little strange, but, you know, all of us have done it, you know, throughout our careers so far.
Look, you always play hard, but I think at times watching you block a ball on one end and race the court like a guard and then follow up a miss, there just seems to be a resolve, a purpose, a determination, maybe just an unbridled joy of playing the game after transferring and sitting out with the shoulder and that sort of thing. Is that your mindset this year as you help lead this young team?
Yeah, I feel like I have to set an example, you know, throughout the whole game. You know, I think Tuesday was a good example of, you know, we were up big right away, and you know, we let the lead slip away at halftime. So, you know, as a leader, I took full responsibility of that. Like, I can't let, you know, my team let that happen. So, you know, we have to teach good habits and get the guys that haven't been in these situations on the right track and make sure we finish out games strong.
It didn't happen much on Tuesday, but what are some of the things the coaching staff has done to create more post opportunities for you, especially?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what we've been working on ever since that the loss against Iowa is, you know, we want to be an inside-out team, and you know, we've looked at the numbers, you know, that show, you know, every time the ball touches the paint and it gets kicked out, you know, our numbers are, you know, so much better. I mean, it's crazy, and you know, the formula has been working, and you know, why change that? So, you know, we just got to stick to the script and keep doing what we're doing.
Does it take this rivalry, that you kind of mentioned it earlier, to a new level though, because of the fact that you know some of these players beforehand and you're going against each other, and yet it's Wisconsin and Marquette? Does it make it a little more special than almost?
Yeah, no, it definitely does. I mean, it's one of the great rivalries in the country, I think. You know, it's too bad we can only play each other once a year, but it is a lot of fun, and you know, it means a lot to us. I mean, you know, there's bragging rights for the whole year. You know, for guys that know each other, you know, you can, you know, whenever you see them, you can brag about that. So, yeah, I do think that there's a lot of competitiveness between that.
When Duane was out here, he talked about how this is the first true road game with a hostile environment. Being one of the team leaders, you know, you have a lot of new guys on the team. What do you say to them to try to keep them grounded going into this game?
Yeah, it's tough to describe what it's like to a guy who's never done that before. So, you know, really, New York was a good experience for us, you know, playing on the road and stuff. But yeah, it's going to be tough, and you know, those guys are going to have to adjust to that pretty fast. There's no way to really prepare for it. You just kind of have to get used to it and get through it, and you know, you have to you know, be ready for those tough situations and block that stuff out from the hostile crowds.
And looking at the bigger picture, this is the last, you know, game game against a major conference team before you guys head into Big East play. What kind of significance does that have in being your last opportunity to get a really good quality win?
Yeah, no, it's really big. It would solidify this stretch that we've been having. It would make the non-conference season really good for us, and it's a win that we need, and it will really boost our confidence going into Big East play, and it will really help us with finals coming up to feel better about all that stuff. So, it's a big game for us, and we're looking to get a big win out of it.